Do you want to know how to encourage a child to play with others? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach parenting and good communication, as well as how to build strong family bonds all over the world through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about social skills. Some children struggle wanting to play with other people, and quite frankly, some of them just aren't ready to play with other people yet. We'll be talking a little bit more about that. But first, this is how this video is going to go. We're going to talk about the social skill of playing with other people, why that's important, what gets in the way of it, and then what you can do to help encourage a child to play with others. Many people are worried about their children's social interaction. We know that social skills are huge skills for our life success, and many people early on worry if their child can or can't play well with other people. What I want you to know is this: some children get overstimulated very easily. In fact, it's usually a general rule that however old the child is how many people they can handle being around at a time. So that means if you have a child that's 2 years old, pretty much they can only handle being around mom and dad, maybe one other. But if it gets to be too many more than that, especially if the friends don't understand them or aren't used to how they function, then it can be very distressing and stressful for the child. So if I have a 5-year-old child, I'm not going to want to get them together with more than 5 children at a time. And even then, I'm going to keep those types of play dates to a minimum, because most of the time a person does better if the groups are smaller. If you want your child to feel comfortable playing with other people, you'll probably want to keep the play groups small too. Lots of times parents get really excited. They talk with their friends and say, we're going to create this big play group and it's going to be so great. We'll get the children together regularly to play and learn things together. I know, because I did that with my first child. In fact, I think I kind of socially ruined him by getting together with other moms in the neighborhood who had children my son's age, starting when he was like 18 months old. It was not a smart choice, because all of those children with my son just taught him to be socially dependent, a little bit socially reactive, and sometimes a little bit stressed. So he wasn't exactly ready for that. But I did try to encourage it. The best way to encourage social interaction, which is important to develop incrementally, is to wait for the child to be ready. Most children aren't really ready for social interaction with friends very much until they hit the age of 4. Now, I know many parents introduce friend groups long before age 4. Sometimes they have daycares or people that they get together with regularly, cousins maybe, those types of things, and the child gets used to playing with other people. Also, a child could just be in a big family, right? And so there's lots of other people around. But those siblings that are in the family are not all the same age, and that makes a difference, because some of the siblings can watch out for those younger ones who have different social needs, and they can cater the environment to what the child needs socially. So usually I would keep my children pretty near me until they were about 4 years old, and then I would start them meeting other people, and we would have play dates with just 1 or 2 children at a time so that they could get used to interacting socially with other people. One thing that I did before we would get together with people to play is I would do some pre-teaching. So what is pre-teaching? Well, if you've subscribed to this channel already, then you know I talk about pre-teaching a lot. Pre-teaching is one of the principles and skills of self-government, and I teach how to incorporate self-government into all of your interactions and relationships so that you can have more freedom and connection as a family. So pre-teaching, there's 3 different ways to do pre-teaching. What we're going to talk about right now is instructional pre-teaching. So before your child has a play date, what you're going to want to do is talk about how you're going to start arranging a play date with someone. But at this play date, we're going to talk about what types of conversations can be had, what behaviors need to happen, what the no answers are, what the instructions are, how to solve problems with friends. All of those things can be talked about and planned for. You can pretend to be the friend and act like someone that is their age so that they can get used to communicating with a person. Now, of course, the other friend might not know all of the skills that your child knows, but your child can feel confident knowing what to do going into the play date, which can hopefully open the door to playing with someone else and decrease the anxiety for them a little bit. My daughter, London, was kind of shy, and she really did not see a need in talking with other people until she was about 4 years old. I tried many times to get her to open up to other people and to try to play with other people, but quite frankly, she just wanted to stay with mom and she was not interested. So I allowed that to happen. Do you know what? She is so secure, probably one of my most secure of all of my children socially. And I do think it's because I gave her the time that she needed with me when she was young. And then when it was time for her to branch out at about age 4, I pre-taught her about what she could do to talk to other people and solve problems. So what did I give her for her problem-solving skills? I gave her the skills of self-government. Now, from the time she was very little, I was teaching her the skills of self-government. Those skills are taught in these children's books. They are the skills of following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. When a person learns all 4 of these 4 basic skills, that takes care of 99% of their behavioral problems. But it also helps them socially, especially that disagree appropriately skill and accepting no answers. If your child is apt to push boundaries with friends, then accepting no answers is exactly what they need. And if they feel like they're not understood, then they need disagreeing appropriately. But what about that following instructions skill? That's important too. You might tell your child that they need to do something like welcome a friend, or they might need to share their toys. Those are going to be instructions, so they need to follow through with the instructions. You may even tell the child ahead of time that if they choose not to follow the instructions, that then they will be corrected. So then they might need to use this book, Accepting Consequences. So all of those 4 basic skills are going to be vital for helping the child. Now, sometimes a child doesn't want to play with other people because they are worried that they won't know how to handle a problem. If disagree appropriately does not work for them to feel understood and to solve a problem, they need to know what to do next. This means you need to prepare the child to come and talk to you about the problem. Bring the problem to an adult so that you can help them sort out the problem. This will teach them what to do in the future and help them feel like everything's going to be okay. Children are really anxious, which is one of the main reasons they don't want to play with other people. But if we can pre-teach the skills that they need for success, practice them with our child ahead of time, and then be there watching what's happening with the play for a little while so that we can help them use the skills as needed, they will be more successful. Now, there are some other reasons why a child may not want to play with other people. Maybe the other people are controlling or bossy, or maybe our child is controlling or bossy. Sometimes a child just doesn't want to share, so they don't want to play with anybody else. Or they don't feel like they can control what everybody else is going to say or do or how they feel, so they don't want to play with everybody else. Or they're worried that they won't get things their way, so they don't want to play with anybody else. These are other reasons that they need the 4 basic skills. Sometimes we don't get things our way. Basically, those are the no answers of life. So we can teach our child how to accept those no answers and not take them personally, how to disagree appropriately, and again, how to seek help for solving problems if they don't know how. One of the biggest things that you can do to help your child feel confident socially is don't just send the children off to one area while you and the other parents sit in a different area. Stay with the children, interact with them, at first even play with them so that they learn how to have really good, healthy play. Your example is going to go a long way. If you've enjoyed this video, I'm pretty sure you'll love my next video, which goes into more about these skills and principles of self-government. The video is called The Not So Known Secret to Parenting Success. Click on the link to that video now. I'll see you there.